Good morning and welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about the industry sectors you should be investing in the next 5 to 10 years. So with this being said, on this topic I'm going to be discussing 3 or 4 potential areas that you'd want to invest in. Now I'm not going to be giving away sort of actual stocks to invest in, but this is the sort of sectors where you want to start doing your research in and picking out stocks that you would look to purchase. So I would start off by saying probably the best sector to invest in will be the third one. But I'm going to start off talking about the first, which my recommendation would be healthcare. So with healthcare, if you look historically, it's always grown pretty much every year. With the aging population, the large transfer of wealth will be going to a lot of these private companies. Now, the reason being, a simple analogy or example would be if I was an elderly person and I'm unable to live in my home in the UK, I would go into a care home or nursing home or private sort of residential area, which are all but pretty much run by private organisations funded by the government. Now the funding has been cut a lot, so a lot of these companies have been smart with it. And what you actually have to do if you want to use these homes, either a friend, relative, or your savings would pay for you to live there, and if you don't have any equity or any money, the government will fund the rest. But however, if you live in a home that's paid for, usually 90 well over 90% of people actually do in that sort of baby boomer industry or age. They actually have to pay for it with the equity of their home. It can reduce down to 100,000, which they keep and will be passed on to their friends and relatives or whoever's in their will. The rest will go to these private organisations. So we're in the midst of large chunks of money, trillions in fact, being siphoned off to these healthcare companies. Now, private healthcare groups also done very well in the recession. I mean, very well in a sense that they were one of the least hit and they survived the recession very well. Obviously, government funding cut down. However, looking at these sort of private health homes, private healthcare sectors, and with the NHS in such disarray and waiting times, a lot of people are just spending the money on private healthcare. So I would definitely look at healthcare as one of those sort of sectors that you would look to invest a large chunk of your portfolio. I would recommend to do that. Second one that I would recommend in terms of industry is technology. Now, we missed the boat on a lot of sort of .com websites, so I would be looking at sort of cybersecurity firms, research and development in towards that. I would definitely invest in that. I won't say too much on the topic, but simply put in, technology will always be there. I would look at sort of artificial intelligence. Anyone investing in that, probably the leader in that will be Google. Any company doing well probably will be acquired through an acquisition through Google anyway. So the stock price will probably jump up. So I wouldn't put too much into it. It's a lot to invest in. It's a very sort of cash-rich industry. It's probably got the most sort of money apart from financial, maybe industry, insurance around that. So I would definitely look in technology. Now, the third sector is probably one of my favorites, and I'll be doing a lot more videos giving stock recommendations on this. Um, so I would be definitely looking at renewable energies. Now, these can be purchased, you do very well in a trust that purchases a lot of companies or single stocks that pay very well in dividends. Now, the dividends that are being paid out, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of government grants, so these companies are growing very quick. It's a huge demand. A lot of companies, well, pretty much every company want to sort of move into a more renewable energy, so they're contacting these companies who are obviously facilitating whatever service they have. Now, there's two FTSE 250 companies that I will be investing in very shortly, and they pay a very healthy dividend, and their growth is phenomenal. So if you look at that on paper, just those two factors, definitely I would be looking at renewable energies. Batteries as well is another sector that I'm looking at. With that, encompassed with renewable energies. So I would definitely be looking at companies that specialize in mining, refining, or investing in companies that produce lithium, which is the number one thing used in batteries. So just little research around these sort of topics will obviously help with that. If you do want to look into sort of automotive industry, I would recommend obviously VW, BMW. But with regards to those, it's you'll be obviously taking on, if you invest into those sorts of companies, you'll be taking on their diesel, their petroleum vehicles as well. So it's not a fantastic sector to get in. However, with the market dipping slightly, car sales being down now, it could be a good time to get in the next 1 or 2 years, for the little, back up to sort of normal standards when they move over to sort of electric vehicles. A lot of companies are, by 2025, 2030, 2029, we're looking to be pure energy. I know for a fact, I believe it's Honda are looking by 2025, to only make and produce electric vehicles, so everything else will become obsolete. I don't think the infrastructure is there, but companies that are looking to, put those electronic, um, charging points out, they're going to be very healthy to invest in at the moment, because they're going to be funded purely by the government, which is an endless cash supply, as well as public and private sector. So definitely look into those. I would recommend, just to summarize: healthcare, bit of technology, renewable energies in the form of, just energy to power people's homes, residential and commercial, as well as around electric vehicles and just general biofuel, renewable energies, wind, solar. Look into those sorts of companies. They'll be absolutely fantastic in the next 5 years.